The sun was beginning to dip low over the quiet hills of North Ridge, casting soft gold on the tall fences and gravel paths of Lennox Canine Estate. It was peaceful here, at least that's what most people thought. The kennels were spotless. The dogs were well fed and trained like soldiers, but not all of them. Far at the edge of the estate, behind two locked gates and thick iron bars, there was one kennel that everyone avoided. It didn't look different from the others, but the silence around it was heavy, like a warning in the wind. Inside that cage lived a dog named Blitz. He was big, larger than most German shepherds, with thick fur, dark eyes, and long scars down his legs and across one ear. His stare was cold. His growl sent chills down spines. He didn't bark to say, "Hello." He barked to say, "Stay away." And if anyone got too close, he attacked. 3 different trainers had tried to help him over the past 6 months. One left in an ambulance with a broken arm that never healed properly. Another had deep bite marks across his leg. The last one didn't get hurt, but he quit. Before his first week ended, he just looked at Blitz once and said, "That dog isn't just angry, he's heartbroken." But the owner of the estate, Mr. Lennox, refused to let Blitz go. Not to another shelter, not to a vet, not even to be put down. No one understood why. Mr. Lennox was a quiet man, rich, powerful, and always dressed in grey. His eyes were sharp, and his words few. He barely spoke to his staff, and no one had ever seen him smile. Until one rainy afternoon, someone cleaning his old office found a photograph. It was dusty and faded. A picture of a young boy, maybe 10 years old, laughing with joy as he hugged a German shepherd that looked exactly like Blitz. The caption on the photo read, "Me and Rex, 1965. That's when it all made sense. Rex had been his childhood dog. Blitz wasn't just a dangerous animal. He was the shadow of something Lennox had once loved and lost. No one asked about it again, but the whispers started. He sees Rex in that dog. He's trying to fix the past. He can't let go. Then, one day, something happened that no one expected. Mr. Lennox called a meeting, not for the estate, for the entire town. At the edge of the estate gates, reporters gathered. Curious neighbors, trainers, dog lovers, even people who had never heard of Lennox before. He stood on a small wooden platform, surrounded by guards and cameras, and made one short announcement: $1 million for anyone who can make Blitz not only obey, but trust, to make him gentle, kind, to bring him back. The crowd gasped. Murmurs spread like fire. $1 million? Was this a joke? A stunt? But nobody laughed, because everyone knew this wasn't about money. This was about a man trying to bring back something that once gave him light, something that once made him human. But Blitz was not just any dog. He had been through something dark, something no one had been able to reach him through. And one by one, even the best trainers in the country walked away. Far away, in the grey corners of a noisy city, lived a girl no one noticed. Lena. She was only 12, but life had already made her older. She didn't go to school. She didn't have a home. She didn't have anyone. She slept in quiet corners, under benches, behind dumpsters, beneath the old rusted sign of a closed gas station. Her jacket was too small and full of holes. Her shoes were thin. And her eyes, though soft, looked tired. Every day Lena walked the streets with a ragged cloth, wiping car windows at red lights. Sometimes she held out a few half-melted candies, hoping someone would buy. Most didn't even look at her. Some shooed her away. A few rolled up their windows, but Lena never got angry. She had learned something a long time ago. The world didn't owe her anything. She didn't remember her parents, just flashes, a lullaby hummed in a warm voice. The smell of cinnamon bread, a man's hand holding hers as they crossed a street. Then did nothing. One evening, as the sky turned purple, Lena crouched behind a delivery truck, resting her feet and holding her empty water bottle. That's when she heard two men talking. "You hear about that dog? Lennox's shepherd. Blitz? The one that almost tore a man's arm off? Yeah, the billionaire's offering $1 million to anyone who can fix him." Lena didn't blink. She didn't move. She just listened. And that night, as she curled beneath her usual spot by the gas station, her thin jacket pulled tight. Against the cold, she didn't dream about food. She thought about Blitz, not the money. She didn't know what $1 million even looked like. She'd never seen more than 5 crumpled bills in her life. But something about a dog that no one could help, a dog that bit and growled and fought everyone, made something deep inside. Her heart ached because maybe, just maybe, Blitz felt like she did, unwanted, left behind, guarding pain with teeth. That night she whispered to the stars, maybe he just needs someone who won't leave. And when the sun rose, she was already walking. She didn't know where the Lennox estate was. She had no phone, no map, just a name and 2 legs that were used to long walks. She passed alleyways and highways, train tracks and empty fields. Some people told her she was crazy. Others ignored her, but she kept walking. Her feet bled. Her lips cracked. But she didn't stop. By the time the sun was setting again, she reached the gates of a place larger than any building she'd ever seen. Tall iron fences, huge stone walls, green grass that looked too perfect to be real. In front of it all, silence. She placed her hand on the cold gate and whispered, "I made it." No one answered. No guard, no staff. She didn't leave. That night, she curled against the fence and slept there with only the stars and the wind for company. She could have gone, but she stayed, and that was just the beginning. Lena woke up to the sound of tires crunching gravel. She opened her eyes slowly. The morning sun was already bright, painting the sky gold and the grass emerald. Her back ached from sleeping on the ground, but she sat up quickly when she saw a black car approaching the gate. It stopped. The driver, a tall man in a clean suit, stepped out. His shoes were so shiny, Lena could see her reflection in them. He frowned when he saw her curled beside the gate. "Get away from here," he said sharply. "This is private property." Lena stood up. Her clothes were wrinkled and dusty. Her hair was messy, but her voice was clear. "I'm here for Blitz," the man blinked. "Excuse me? I heard about him. The dog. I want to help." The man looked confused, then annoyed. "You? You're just a kid." Lena didn't back down. "So what? Go home," he said. "Where are your parents?" "I don't have any," she replied softly. That made the man pause for a second. Then he shook his head. "You can't just walk into Lennox's estate and ask to help a monster." "A dog. He's not a monster," Lena said. "You don't know him. I know how it feels to be alone." The man didn't know what to say to that. He just stared at her, lips tight. Then, behind him, a second car rolled in, sleek, silver, and silent. The back door opened slowly, and out stepped Mr. Lennox, tall, grey suit, silver hair, eyes like ice. Everyone around him went still. Even the birds stopped singing. Lena felt a tiny tremble run down her spine, but she didn't. "Look away," Mr. Lennox glanced at the girl, then at the man beside her. "What's going on?" he asked. "She says she's here for Blitz," the man said, half laughing. "Says she wants to help him." Mr. Lennox studied Lena. She didn't blink. "Do you know anything about dogs?" he asked. "No," Lena answered honestly. "You've never trained one?" "No." "You know he's dangerous. I know he's hurting." That made something flicker in Lennox's eyes, just for a second. Then, with a strange softness in his voice, he asked, "Why would a child like you want to risk your life for a broken dog?" Lena didn't hesitate. "Because I'm broken too, and I know what it's like when no one wants to try." The silence was heavy after that. Even the wind paused, as if waiting for his reply. Then, to everyone's shock, Mr. Lennox turned and said, "Let her in." The guards looked at each other. "But sir," "I said let her in." And just like that, the gate opened. Lena stepped through slowly, as if walking into another world. The grass felt soft under her feet. The buildings around her were huge, polished, and full of glass windows. Everything smelled clean, expensive, and cold. She followed the driver and 2 guards, past dozens of happy dogs running in the training yard. None of them barked at her. She smiled for the first time in days, but then they stopped in front of a tall gate, locked twice over with thick chains. Behind it was him, Blitz. His eyes found hers instantly. He didn't move. He didn't growl. He just watched. Lena froze. Not from fear, but from something else. It felt like 2 lost hearts recognizing each other across a cage. One of the guards stepped forward. "If you get too close, he'll lunge. He's done it before." Lena nodded but didn't answer. She slowly walked up to the bars and sat cross-legged just outside the gate. She didn't speak. She didn't reach out. She just sat, watching him, letting him watch her. Blitz didn't move. Hours passed. People walked by. Staff whispered. The sun got high, then lower again. But Lena didn't leave. She sat through the heat, then through the chill. She only stood up to stretch, then sat again. At one point someone brought her water and bread. She thanked them quietly. Still she stayed. And so did Blitz. At sunset, when the air turned orange and long shadows stretched across the estate, something changed. Blitz stood. He didn't bark, didn't growl. He walked slowly to the edge of his cage and sat down, just inches from her. For the first time since he arrived at the estate, he didn't look angry. He looked curious. Lena didn't smile. She didn't cheer. She just whispered, "I'm Lena." Blitz tilted his head. "I don't have anyone either." The dog blinked. "I won't leave." And then, gently, softly, she laid down beside the cage bars and closed her eyes. Blitz watched her for a long, long time. Then, quietly, he laid down, too, his heavy head resting near the space where her fingers almost reached through. Far away, from an upper window, Mr. Lennox watched it all. He didn't speak, but for the first time in years, something wet touched the corner of his eye, and deep in his heart, a hope he thought was long dead stirred. The next morning, Lena woke up to soft breathing. Blitz was still there, lying by the cage door, watching her. His eyes were gentler now, like he was trying to understand her. Lena sat up slowly and whispered, "Morning, big guy." Blitz didn't growl. He didn't bark. Instead, he blinked, slowly, like he was saying, "Morning," from the other side. Of the estate, a bell rang. It was feeding time. Trainers moved quickly with bowls, whistling commands, calling names, but no one came near Blitz. They were too afraid. A young man in a green uniform placed Blitz's food near the gate, far back, enough so he wouldn't be seen as a threat. Then he hurried away. Lena looked at the bowl and then at Blitz. He didn't move. "Not hungry?" she asked. He gave a tiny grunt. Lena stood up and walked a few steps away from the cage. She picked up a stick, sat back down, and began to draw shapes. In the dirt, hearts, stars, and circles. "I used to draw with my dad," she said quietly. "Before he got sick." Blitz tilted his head. Lena kept talking. "He said if you draw something and you believe it, it might come true." She drew a big heart with 2 small ones inside, one for her, one for Blitz. The dog inched closer to the bars. Then he did something that surprised her. He let out a small, quiet whine, not a growl, not a bark, a whine. It was the first sound of trust. Lena smiled. Then she made a bold move. She picked up a piece of the bread she saved from yesterday and gently pushed it through the space in the bars. Blitz sniffed it, then took it gently from her hand. No biting, no snapping, just soft jaws. Lena grinned. See, you're not so scary after all. But not everyone was happy. Behind them a door slammed. It was Mr. Lennox's chief trainer, Mr. Bruno, a muscular man with hard eyes and a scar on his cheek. He marched toward her. "You!" he shouted. "What are you doing?" Lena stood up quickly. Blitz growled this time, but softly. "I was just—" "You could have lost your hand," Bruno snapped. "That dog is dangerous. He didn't bite me. That doesn't mean he won't. You think this is a game?" Mr. Lennox appeared from the side building, calm and watchful. Bruno turned to him. "Sir, this is not safe. The girl needs to leave." Lena's heart dropped. Mr. Lennox stared at her, then at Blitz, who had stepped in front of Lena, standing tall, muscles tight, ears perked, like he was protecting her. Everyone froze. Bruno stepped back. Even he knew. Blitz had never stood in front of anyone like that before. Mr. Lennox spoke slowly. "Bruno, who does Blitz listen to?" Bruno swallowed. "No one, sir." "And yet, he listens to her." Silence. "Let her be," Lennox said. "She stays." Lena's heart jumped. Bruno looked furious, but he nodded and stormed off. That day, Lena stayed with Blitz all morning. She sang to him, she talked to him. She even danced a little, just to see if he'd react. He didn't dance back, but his tail moved, just once. She gasped, "You wagged!" He looked away like he was shy. By the afternoon, the sky turned cloudy. The wind picked up. A storm was coming, but Lena didn't leave. When the first drops began to fall, Blitz let out a low bark. Lena stood. "It's okay. I like the rain." The wind howled. A flash of lightning lit the sky. Then, boom! Thunder roared. Blitz jumped back, whining, his whole body shaking. Lena ran closer to the bars. "It's okay, Blitz. It's just noise." But he was panicking. His legs buckled, his eyes were wide. And then, before anyone could stop her, Lena did something crazy. She opened the first lock on the cage. Gasps echoed around the yard. "The shoe?" Guards screamed. "Stop her! Get her away!" But Mr. Lennox held up his hand. "Wait!" Everyone froze. Lena unlatched the second lock. The gate creaked, and slowly Blitz stepped out. The wind blew harder, but instead of running wild or attacking anyone, Blitz did something no one expected. He walked straight to Lena and sat beside her. Then, carefully, he nuzzled her hand. Tears filled Lena's eyes. "You're okay now," she whispered. "I'm here." And for the first time since Blitz came to the estate, the big, broken dog barked. A loud, clear, joyful bark. The storm roared. But in that moment, Lena and Blitz had found each other.